Okay, let's have a mature conversation about love in the Energon universe, especially between Optimus and Elita. Issue 30, which releases next month, is bringing to a head the fallout of the relationship between these two Autobot leaders, and I wanted to discuss the concept of their relationship. But let's get a few ground rules out of the way first so that we don't veer off into senseless ramblings. Number 1. I am personally not against the idea of Transformers characters having relationships with each other in different continuities. Some people really don't like it, and some people absolutely love it. I'm right in the middle. It can be done well, and it can be done poorly. These characters, at the end of the day, outside of the canon, are reflections of ourselves, or more accurately, the writers. They have arms, legs, human-like emotions, and so much more, so the argument that they would not have an emotion like love just doesn't work for me. I discussed this concept in a video a few years ago titled When Transformers Are Human, and I think that video still holds up to this day, so I suggest you watch that one. Number 2. Love is an emotion that exists on a wide spectrum. The worst argument you can level against Cybertronians loving each other is the age-old, well, they don't have reproductive organs, therefore they can't love each other. This is a sad view of love, and if you were about to type this in the comments, I suggest that you put down the phone, turn off the TV, get off the computer, and think about how love is not exclusively tied to sexual intercourse. Two people can feel great love for each other and it not depend on physicality. Friends have love for each other, family has love for each other, and yes, even lovers can have a love that is not based purely on sex. I implore you, get your mind out of the gutter and recognize that love is more than what social media and Hollywood wants us to think it is. I made an entire audiobook story on this concept featuring Powerglide and Astoria from the Generation 1 cartoon, so that should give you a great idea of my thoughts on love and how it can be communicated in this franchise. And finally, number 3, while I am not fundamentally against the idea of Cybertronians experiencing the emotions of love, I personally am not a fan of the over-sexualization of these characters. Hot Motor Oil is a series of images drawn by Transformers artist Alex Milne that depicts many IDW characters in very explicit and sexualized poses. I do not think that this art is wrong. Artists should have the freedom to create what they want, even if it isn't my cup of tea. I'm not saying Hot Motor Oil should be condemned. I'm not saying that people cannot enjoy it. No, I'm just saying that I personally find no interest in the over-sexualization of these characters. Okay, so now that I've probably alienated a good majority of people watching this video, let's talk about love and how it is being used in the Transformers comics at the moment with Optimus and Elita. Since her reunion with Optimus in issues 9 and 10, there has been an obvious tension between these two leaders that hints to another life left undiscovered. Throughout Daniel Warren Johnson's run, we get more and more hints as to what was, the relationship between these two, and how it fell apart. Issue 12 gives us a moment wherein Elita cracks under the pressure of being left behind once again and pleads with Optimus to stay with her. It's a moment that all of us remember vividly. I don't think it's wrong to assume from these pages and the dialogue that Optimus and Elita have that they have what we would consider a romantic relationship in the past, despite it never being confirmed as such. These two characters speak to each other as if they were quarreling lovers, and it's also well known that when writing his issues, Daniel Warren Johnson pulled heavy influences from the original source material of Generation 1. But this is something I'm going to get back to later, don't worry. Speeding up to issue number 29, Elita has finally returned to Earth to confront Optimus for his ultimate betrayal of his own people, and of course, her. Elita is hell-bent on making Optimus suffer for his supposed crimes, something that we start to see affecting the morale of her troops. The solicited preview pages for issue 30 show us a tender moment between the two, but we need to recognize that the dialogue has been omitted from these pages, which I think is a smart move on the publisher's side. So Optimus and Elita finally come face to face again. What's going to happen next? I think it's an easy bet that Kirkman will not let these two characters reconcile and make up, and I think that is the best move, and I say that as someone who has been hypercritical of what Kirkman has been doing in this series. Optimus and Elita are not who they once were. They have forever changed over the course of the war, and they simply are no longer compatible. Elita has shown us that she is willing to sacrifice Earth to the Decepticons in order to save Cybertron, an understandable dilemma, but one that Optimus would never allow. I am fairly confident that whatever these two are saying to each other on this page, the following panel will be a rug pull where Elita slaps or punches or even knocks Optimus over. It just makes the most logical sense for the story and for these characters. I really try my hardest not to theorycraft on this channel, but for this video I will tell you all what I would like to see happen and why. I do not want Elita to die, but I absolutely do not want her to reconcile with Optimus. Love is a complicated, messy, and troubling emotion sometimes. It is possible to truly love someone, but to never be able to forgive them. To feel deeply for another, but also to feel no connection, the connection that maybe once was there. Optimus and Elita, in my opinion, must stay on opposite sides of each other. I'm okay if they stop fighting, or even work together, but emotionally, I just cannot see how these two would ever be able to agree again. Would it be nice for everyone to get along? Sure, but I want conflict. I want complications. This brings me to somewhat of a complicated point that is most likely going to turn into a rant, though, and that is the way us fans communicate our feelings on these two characters. My least favorite comment of all time to see nowadays is something akin to the age-old, mom and dad are getting a divorce. Look, I get it. It's an easy and comical way to connect these emotions to something in our real world. And yes, like two individuals who are married and have decided to split, a lot of the time, it's a very messy situation, just like with Optimus and Elita. But to boil these two characters down to a single quote-unquote joke, that's honestly really not that funny, mind you, we strip away so much of their characters. In fact, I think this hurts Elita more than Optimus. For years and years, Elita's character has been defined as one singular thing, and that is being Optimus's girlfriend. Sure, that is a large aspect of her, and I'm not against it, but she can be so much more. Female characters in all of fiction can be so much more than just what they mean to male characters. Currently, I would say that Elita's biggest characteristic in this comic is that she is so vengeful against Optimus for his actions, and yes, that does play into their past relationships. This is why I hope Elita stays on and gets to grow as a character. Again, I get it. Mom and Dad are fighting, and the Autobots are the children caught in the middle. Even Robert Kirkman has jumped on this train and used this exact analogy with Elita. I don't have an issue with that, but let's try and be a little more critical when we talk about these characters and not simply say divorce as a joke. Because again, it's really not even that funny, and it's really not even that critical. Let these characters be more than just two people in a failing relationship. That's a huge aspect of them, yes, of course, but let them blossom into something even more, especially Elita, who desperately needs more time to shine. Hopefully, she does get that. Hopefully, her and Optimus don't just make up and forgive each other and everything's good and dandy, because at that point, wouldn't you be just a little disappointed that she's back to simply being Optimus Prime's girlfriend? Let her be more. Let her be her own character. And let's allow there to be conflict between these two characters and not just boil it down to something as simple and personally unfunny as divorce. I've been harsh on this comic as of late, I will admit it, but I have a channel dedicated to it, and I'm on a podcast where every month we talk about these issues. That's the Teletran Tapes podcast, which, by the way, our newest episode is out. Please go listen to it. So, yeah, I do love this comic, and I love this franchise, and that's why I want better from it, because we've had better from it. And I understand things are going to change when a writer changes or an artist changes. That's fine. There's going to be new directions. Not everything's going to hit. Sometimes we're going to try something and it doesn't land. I get it. That's fine. No issue there. But the entirety of it, the whole product of it is not meeting up to standards right now, I don't think. And so I really hope, especially with Optimus and Elita, that they pull through and are able to do something extremely memorable with these characters. If you'd like to join the conversation, then I've left a link down below in the description. It's an invite into the Discord that I have. It's the server where we can all come together. It's just $1 to get in. It's a one-time payment. You don't have to pay monthly. We're going to be doing game nights and movie nights, and we even have a monthly call where we go back and look through all the Energon Universe title releases of the prior month. I'd love to see you in there, and I'll see you guys next time.